I think we're ready.
Will you lead us in the pledge?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I guess everybody knows it's President's Week this week, and it's also my birthday, so I just...
Boy, happy
I don't know
birthday.
if anyone wants to associate the two.
Do you reveal age?
Oh, Mr. Trench. Mr. Trench is getting nervous there.
We want to.
How are you?
Dennis, are you
We want to call the
call the meeting
Right
order.
Town Park Commission meeting Tuesday, February 15th. Commissioner Sack.
Here.
Commissioner Salanitro.
Here.
Commissioner Feinstein.
Yes.
Commissioner Pilla.
Here.
Commissioner French.
Here.
Commissioner Carvin.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any comments on the minutes of the meeting from January 18th?
I have some comments.
Please.
They're all mostly typographical, but there was one substantive one. When we talked about the cost of capital rates of 5%, that percentage was not included in the minutes, was not discussed publicly because it was a number that you had to get back to us on.
Okay.
Okay, so that should be deleted.
Okay.
Okay? But I'll just give you, so that's just
So then you
clarification.
give the typos to Mr. Nowotnik?
Yep,
Can I borrow those?
sure.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Please.
I was quoted at the very end. It says, Commissioner Sack reports that unless expenditures are cut, there will be a larger operating loss in 2011. I think essentially my point was revenues are projected to be even greater than what they were in 2010, and since we were told by staff all year long that the only reason we had such high revenues in 2010 is because of the weather, I think it stands to reason that we cannot project to have even more revenues than we had in 2010. So I think that was the point that I had made. So if the minutes could
So
be
you want
reflected.
to, would you adjust this to say that basically there's a real concern that revenues of last year...
Yes, that's fair enough. Thank you, Joe.
I can pull the exact
Thank you.
words. I can go back to the recording.
Great,
enough.
thank you.
Okay, and I will make that adjustment.
Perfect. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes as adjusted?
So moved.
Second.
Bishop?
Okay, sorry. Commissioner Sack?
Yes.
Commissioner Salanitro?
Yes.
Commissioner Feinstein?
Yes.
Commissioner Pilla?
Yes.
Commissioner French?
Yes.
Commissioner Carvin?
Yes. Okay. The automated revenue, so we got our FP and we got some results, and I know Commissioner Salanitro and Commissioner Pilla spent some time looking those over. Do you gentlemen want to report back to the board, or how do we...
Sure, I'll turn it to Commissioner Salanitro first,
Yes,
actually, and
Commissioner
Bishop
Pilla.
has some remarks too, maybe.
We have communicated. I did bring with me a document to share with the commission, provided that Commissioner Pilla is comfortable with it, because I didn't get his final blessing on it. But in sum and substance, the review consisted of the 5 proposals that were received and highlights on each proposal with the costs associated on the base proposals, as well as some not included prices that were explained in the proposals. As far as conclusions and recommendations, if you'd like, I can read the very brief paragraph and a half, or 2 paragraphs, but essentially we feel that the RFP process was very successful. It gave a lot of insight as to possible alternative revenue collection sources or opportunities. There is opportunity for annual savings in personnel costs, which is a driving factor of the overall budget. And essentially, our recommendation is to further evaluate in which direction the Commission would like to go with the help of the Ad Hoc Parking Committee of the City of Rye, and then develop a more defined RFP for competitive pricing. Because right now, it's apples and oranges, all 5 of them. There's not one that's consistent with the other. They all provide a service, but if we decide on which service that we really want to go in that direction, then we should re-advertise for a fuller and more complete RFP. If you want, we can go through each individual one. Again, I just tried to put a few sentences together. the highlights of each individual proposal that was received. And the cost, from a cost point of view, we have $111,000 as a low proposal to a high of $188,000. But all of them exclude some annual costs that are required, as well as infrastructure improvements that will be needed for electrical, phone, internet connection, excavation, concrete. So there are other costs, as well as some hard costs for any kiosks that would be needed, or booths that might be recommended, depending on which process we select. So the numbers can increase up to approximately $250,000 if we went with a gate system. Commissioner Pillar, is that complete?
Yeah, pretty much. Only the one vendor met all of the requirements, including the beach access.
Yes.
Bishop had some comments and notes. I know I met with them the other day in the Budget Committee. We discussed this in brief. Maybe, Bishop, is there anything, if I may, Mr. Chairman?
Please, absolutely.
Yeah, if there's anything that he wants to add, because I see we have a presentation on the agenda as well.
Yeah, these are just my opinions in terms of how things have been going there. Certainly I agree with Commissioner Salanitro. There were a lot of very interesting ideas that came out of the RFP process. One of the most interesting for me was the one vendor actually identified the fact that our parking entrance is just not configured properly. It should really be two separate booths, and in effect have everybody positioned properly in terms of cars coming in, so that the cashier is on the driver's side, etc. And the kiosk arrangement there was an additional cost item of about $70,000. That would get you the arms integrated with the existing cashier system, and would get you nice looking, frankly, integrated booths. I think the key that I'm getting from all of this somehow is the 80-20 rule comes into play here to a large extent. And we just think that we have made over the last 3 years a number of significant changes. We've captured a lot of the stuff. Now to capture that remaining residual revenue, if you will, is going to be extremely costly in relation to what we're trying to do. That's just my observation, but I was really enthused when I saw the pictures of the booths, which looked like they were literally built for Rycombe Park, nice peaked roofs and everything else, and that could be done for about $70,000. And that could be done fairly quickly as well.
Can I suggest, before we take up discussion at the commission, that we hear from the presenter? And it might be helpful to just sort of get a sense of how I'd be interested to hear what you took away from the RFP,
right?
And what you're proposing. So is it Kristie?
Yes, it is.
Please, once you come up, if there's no objection, let Kristie present.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Just so the public is aware, this is one of the 5 proposals that we received.
Thank you.
I'm sure all the other ones would like to present as well.
Right.
We haven't asked CORE to come in here because we've selected them for any
Right.
reason. But I think there was an opportunity, Bishop, that you felt the agenda allowed some interaction with the one vendor?
Well, the scenario, at least from my perspective, is that Core Cashless was one of the only vendors that was thoroughly responsive to the RFP. They're covering both parking and beach operations, whereas many of the other responders were just looking at parking. So based on that and the fact that they were the low bidder, we felt at least we could start the process, get them in here, and give the commission a chance to actually talk to somebody that knows what they're doing.
Well, thank you so much for coming tonight. I thank you, Commissioner Salanitro. It's an important qualification.
I'm sorry.
The projector.
Yeah, I can.
Beautiful. I think.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Kristie Noyes. I am with Core Cashless Systems. Can you hear me? Okay. And I guess I'll appreciate this opportunity to run through what a system could do for you based on what we understand from the RFP. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on who we are, because that's not really the purpose of this, but I do want you to know who we are. So we're headquartered in Kansas City. I'm a project manager based in upstate New York. And we have many, many clients. Even though we've only been 3 years as CORE, we are the accumulation of a number of different companies that all came together under the CORE name several years ago. We have some clients in your neighborhood, Rye Playland probably being the most well-known to you. We do the cashless system and the parking for Rye Playland. We also do the cashless payment system at Fun Fusion in New Rock City, if you've been to that location. And we installed the cashless payment and admission control system at Luna Park, Coney Island this summer, which was quite a feat to do in 100 days. So that's who we are. We also have some clients that don't let us use their logos. We do all of the cashless at Walt Disney World. We do all the SeaWorld games. We have our system installed on the Disney cruise lines. I'm just going to run through these quickly because that's not the purpose of this. Our system is on all of the Royal Caribbean and Celebrity ships and the Disney for their cashless payments. So we know what we're doing with payment systems and admission controls. We're members of all of the organizations that we should be members of, the water park, the amusement, blah, blah, blah. All right, so now that we've been through that, the question is, what can we do for you? Or, what can any of these vendors potentially do for you that have responded? And one of the goals that we garnered from your RFP was that you have a particular problem with traffic flow into the parking lot, and it was my understanding that on some days that the line of cars waiting to pay to come in could be rather lengthy, and sometimes it backs up into the residential area behind it. So that was one thing that we took away, was an issue you were trying to address. Certainly security, or you might call it cash control, money being handled at the parking booths is always a concern when you've got typically lower paid staff as cashiers, and we do find that there is shrinkage involved anytime people are handling cash, and particularly at a remote location such as a ticketing booth. So we came away that you needed admission controls, meaning money control where people come in at the parking and at the beach and pool. You needed gate entry and exit control, meaning into the parking lot. You really wanted some way to measure your attendance at the facility, because right now you don't have any real-time attendance information, and that could play into all kinds of things, staffing and lifeguards or whatever might be appropriate. And we also know that because we're going to have some sort of a system, we probably need a phone intercom, and you'll see why that plays into this in just a moment. And if we call it fraud control, cash control, employee theft, etc. So that's what we came away with that you wanted. And we came up with an idea that to control the traffic and to help eliminate some of the cost of having people in the ticket booth selling parking tickets, we are proposing, and we can certainly do it any way you want, but our proposal is that you let the guests come into the parking lot unobstructed by going over a surface mount just similar to the rental car places or some of the parking garages. So the point is, they're not going to pay when they go in, they're going to pay when they come out. And when they come out, the payment can be automated. We don't need a person sitting in a booth taking money. I'm sure you've all been to the New Rock City parking garage. There's no one there taking money. You pay at pay stations. So our concept to eliminate the traffic, to eliminate people in the ticket booths, and to eliminate the cash handling by people in the ticket booths is to pay on the way out. If you want, we can do pay on the way in, and I guess that's where the second RFP would come into play once you've decided what you want. So the car would come in, we wouldn't have the traffic lined up because they would just be coming in and parking and going to enjoy what they do. There's a wrong way night view with lights on the back of these spikes so that nobody can say they didn't see, they weren't supposed to go out that way. We provide the signs. You've seen, I'm sure everybody's seen these. So step number one, the car enters the parking garage, and if you go to our website, we have a cute video that shows you what happens if you go over the spikes the wrong way. All right. we've gotten the person into the parking lot. How are we going to sell tickets to the beach, tickets to park, and passes, like season passes for the beach, season passes for the parking? We do all these things at Playland and other sites. So one way we can sell parking and beach admission is with online sales, and we've proposed to provide you with a web online sales e-commerce portal that would link from the Town of Rye website directly to our portal. It's a secure site, just like we do for Playland with their online sales, and people could actually buy their parking and their beach admissions in advance. They could buy season passes online in advance, etc., etc. We also can sell ticketing for parking through our on-site staffed sales. Well, you just said we weren't going to have anybody in the ticket booths. We're not, but we're going to have people at the beach entries. They could sell the parking for when you leave. You could buy your parking pass from the staffed beach people. We have kiosks we've proposed where guests can walk up, put their credit card or cash in, and get their parking barcoded pass out that they then scan to go out of the parking lot when they're done. And of course, this all opens the door to much marketing for multi-day passes. We can sell blocks of parking tickets. You could buy 5 on a card, and we'll see how that works in just a minute. We can do promo codes if you want to offer special pricing to people, and we can even do consignment sales, which we do for our other locations where you can sell reduced beach sales through PTAs, through all kinds of different organizations that want to sell your beach passes. All this is built into the system. So, first of all, as I said, we can sell online. This is way number one. We can sell beach and parking tickets before you even get to the park. We can sell season passes. Our online systems handle resident pricing by looking at the billing zip code that they use with their credit card and determining whether or not they're a resident that's eligible for any special pricing you might give these people for parking or beach. And they get a printed home barcoded voucher that they can exchange at one of the kiosks or at the ticket sales at the beach for whatever credential it is that they bought. So we've mocked up here what a printed home would look like with your logo at the top. And we can do 1 to 8 tickets per page. This is an example of 4 tickets per page. They're secure. Each of those barcodes is a unique barcode number, which when scanned removes the credential and eliminates it from being used again. It's just like a printed home ticket that you would use for a concert or an event. We can use your graphics, and we don't charge any click fees or per ticket fee or per transaction fee. What you make is what you keep. All the money goes directly to your bank account. We don't hold any money with online ticketing. We also propose for the beach area the unit that you see at the top of the screen with the larger unit. If you've been to Playland, you've seen these at Playland. They're meant for outdoor environments. That's a stainless steel top that's over the cash drawer. It's got a receipt printer in the upper right-hand corner. It's got a little tiny keypad in the lower right-hand corner. It's got a mag stripe reader. It's got a customer advised display, which New York State requires that you have a customer advised display if you're a point of sale. And it's got a barcode scanner. So it's made for the outdoors. It's made for the beach environment. That's why it's stainless. We would put this to sell beach tickets at the beach windows, and that would also allow someone with a printed home ticket who had already bought a beach admission, the cashier would scan it and it would say, yes, that's a valid ticket on the little display, and it deactivates that barcode from further use. It's very easy to learn. We train a lot of the employees over at Playland who come from Russia and other countries to work for the summer, and they pick this up very, very quickly. It's very simple to use, and it's very, very fast. Even a credit card transaction is usually sub 2 seconds. So you swipe the credit card. We don't use phone lines for credit cards. We use the internet, TCP/IP packets. We've talked about online. We've talked about selling from the beach manned booths, and the last method that we'll do is payment through what we call a kiosk, an automated kiosk. This is an example of one that's built into a wall. It's got a touch screen with buttons. It'll dispense a barcoded card with whatever you've purchased on it. Let's say you've purchased 2 beaches and a parking. That will be on the card as it comes out of the machine. It takes credit cards. It'll do the tap and go with the RFID Vivo reader on it, whatever way you'd like to have it configured. It takes cash, bills. It takes credit cards, and it can read vouchers. So if you bought a voucher at home for something, you can go to the kiosk, scan the voucher under that little hooded scanner in the bottom, and out will pop your card with whatever you purchased. This is an example of 4 of those kiosks. That happens to be at Luna Park at Coney Island. So people walk in and they just buy their stuff there. They don't even go to the the cashier. Obviously, it reduces staff. Obviously, it's available all year round. And all of the money now, all of the cash is inside that instead of spread around amongst numerous cashiers. The cards that we've proposed cost 8 cents a piece. They're very reasonable cards. They're barcoded cards, uniquely barcoded cards. They're plastic. They're waterproof. The guests can go in the beach. If they go to Playland, they can go in the pool. Nothing happens to the barcode. They can go through the wash in your pants, and nothing will happen to it. So if I've got a pass with 10 parkings on it, I can keep it all season, put it in my wallet. It's very thin. It's a very, very thin, much thinner than a credit card, plastic card. It's reusable. You can recharge it at the kiosk. You can recharge it at the cashier, and we don't charge you for any barcode numbers or anything. There's no hidden fees. And we can put your custom graphic on the front of the card to say whatever you'd like it to say. If you've seen the Playland card, it's got their logo on the front, etc. What happens to the people who want to go eat at the restaurant? Because there's a restaurant there that you need to park for. If you want them to pass out parking passes so that the guests who are dining there can get out of the parking lot without paying, you can certainly give the restaurant a supply of pre-activated parking cards, pre-activated parking passes. There's always a danger with giving someone something that's pre-activated because then you have to inventory it. It's got the value on it. So we recommend, rather than do that we can, even though that works, we can put a very small device, which we call the pad, and that's in our proposal as an optional device that they can put next to the cash register in the restaurant. And when the guest has finished paying, if they want to charge a nominal fee for the parking, they can add it to the guest bill, or if it's free, they can swipe the card through this fast pad, which then activates the card, so they're not sitting there with a stack of pre-activated cards, and there's accountability because it ties back to the restaurant tab. So we'll just run through that. But the point is we can also do it at the restaurant. The restaurant could also sell beach admissions. There's no reason why the restaurant can't sell a beach admission, swipe the card through there, and now they've got their beach entitlement on the card. So there's all kinds of possibilities of what the restaurant could do based on your relationship with them and how far you want to go. Optionally, at the beach, if we want the cashier to sell them something and then have them go through a barrier, you can put a turnstile like you've seen at amusement parks, and on the turnstile you'll see there's a stainless steel reader where they can scan their credential underneath it. If it has the right beach entitlement, it unlocks the turnstile for one turn and in they go. That could be a fast pass lane. If you've purchased online or if you've purchased at the kiosk, you don't need to go to the human. You could go right to this and scan your credential. Again, that's optional. It could be added down the road. And finally, we have a handheld unit that does the same thing that thing we just showed you does, except the cashier holds it and scans the ticket, and it can actually activate a turnstile wirelessly through a controller from this handheld. Here, now we've had our nice day at the beach, we've paid for everything, now we're ready to leave. This is actually a picture from Playland. You'll see the gate arm in the photo is beyond this other arm that comes up with the reader on it. So what we have proposed is a gate arm like you see on the right with the red and black arm on it, and that's where you were saying earlier there is some cement work to be done. You have to mount that. You'll notice this one's mounted on a little yellow cement pad in the photo. But the guest would approach the first station, which is the console, and it would have the scanner on it so they could scan the credential that they got, the barcode, and if it's valid, the gate goes up. They could also put in a credit card at that point. We don't really want a lot of credit card transactions at this device, but as a secondary means, if they get there and they forgot, they didn't know they had to go get a ticket to get out, there is a credit card swipe that we can put in there, and we've proposed to put in there so they can pay as they leave, like you could do at some of the airports, the Albany Airport, for example. So once I've paid, the gate arm is going to raise, and it's a very quick gate arm. It takes 0.9 of a second to open and close it's fast. It's kind of like at the bridges and whatnot. It's aluminum. We're going to give you, actually, in the proposal we said we would give you 2 arms, 1 and a spare. We're going to actually give you 3 because somebody will run through it. Somebody will crash into it. But when it's made to break away so that it doesn't destroy the components of what's inside that white box, which is the very important controller components, it snaps off so it doesn't hurt anything inside. I know I'm going quickly, but they only told me I had 15 minutes, so I'm kind of rushing through this. Is this okay?
No, 15 minutes is right.
These guys are up to
Unfortunately,
speed.
another meeting coming after.
Okay,
so.
and if the power goes out, it auto-opens. So if there's an emergency and the power goes out, these units will auto-open the gate. I know there's probably more questions on that. We've proposed to put in the voice intercom, so if somebody gets to
Those don't work. I've never seen one work anywhere, but go ahead.
Really? We have a very good one that we use, where they can call up to 4 numbers if they have a problem, and the gate can be remotely operated by pushing 9 on the telephone keypad. Some other things that you might be interested in, the system has controls built in so that if you want to change the prices for certain times and dates, if the 4th of July you charge more for your parking or more for your beach, that can be automatically put in the system, so on that date you don't have to remember to go in and change it. It's scripted to start and end on certain dates or times of day. If you want twilight pricing, it'll automatically change on the kiosks everywhere for twilight.
But on the prepaids, it'll take whatever's prepaid. If you
On
pay at a higher price.
It depends how you want to work the prepaid. If you want to buy a parking entitlement that just says, I've got 1 e-token on my card, that's fine. Or you could let them put money on their card. You can put $20 on your parking card, and then if you go out during a cheaper hour, it's going to reduce the... Yeah, I didn't explain that, but I think you got the idea. If you have an event coming in where you want the gate to be up all the time, it's a buyout. I don't know if you ever do those, but somebody's purchasing out the whole facility and you just want the gate to be up because you're going to have an attendant there, we can do that. There is reporting. It's all in real time. Everything that's done is done to a server, so the reporting is real. You'll know how many people have gone into the beach, come out of the beach, how many were residents if you're doing differential pricing. Everything can be exported to Excel, and it's a SQL database, so if you're a SQL fan, you can knock yourself out doing SQL queries. You can access the reports remotely through a VPN, sorry to get technical, but through a VPN or a proxy server access. The servers, blah, blah, blah. We proposed all the servers, and we're proposing that they are located either 1 in each kiosk, because we proposed 2 automated kiosks, or we can put them in a rack in some secure facility that you have, or we can put 1 on-site and 1 off-site somewhere over here. They're in constant replication so that you don't ever lose your data. Some optional things that are, this one's included, you might want to use it. We can track labor of your employees. They can log in at the point of sale, or you can purchase a very inexpensive time clock kit from us, and they can clock in. It's in real time, so you know how much you're spending on your labor for the people there. We export to ADP. You probably have your own town payroll system, but...
Paychecks.
Oh, well, we do paychecks too, but ADP's them. Okay, good. So labor is a very important part of it, and we also offer gift cards, which you can sell them on site or online. It's a new revenue generator for you. You know, hey, buy a gift card for your family for the whole season. It's got $50 on it for parking, beach, whatever they want to use it for. They can buy it on site. You can make it a cute little card with a little bow on it, you know, Town of Rye Beach gift card. We don't charge click fees for that. It's just part of the system, and it's your money. We don't keep the money. It's your gift card program. You sell them, you redeem them. And I think I used my 15 minutes, didn't I?
Beautiful.
Very timely.
Was it perfect? Thank you.
Very nice.
Okay.
So, why don't I open up to the commission for questions for Kristie?
Oh, yep, I'm sorry.
Kristie, maybe it's better you go up. Do you mind just standing up there?
No problem.
I had a couple questions, Chairman.
Yep, please.
Everybody hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Because they raised this
Yeah,
Congratulations on the...
I've got the high chair, Joe.
Yeah, you got the high chair. So a couple questions. You mentioned variable pricing on certain dates, but what if